You'll get a $50 Amazon gift card. Anyone that signs up from this group gets waived implementation fees, which are usually $1,500. So, and then we'll do a $50 discount on the monthly service fee as well. And because we know that this group is made up of people who will benefit the most from using this.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Dental Office Managers Community Podcast, where we talk about the issues that matter most and help us to become better leaders in our dental practice. I'm your host, Kyle Summerford. Let's dive right in. Hey guys, it's Kyle, your admin, Dental Office Managers Community, and we are here with community member Adam Smith of Dental Intelligence.
Hey everyone.
Hey Adam, so appreciate you taking the time out to join the webinar. I brought you on here because we have office managers who are, facing certain issues in their dental practice. And I really thought that, hey, Dental Intelligence has a good service, a good product that they're offering dental office managers. And I believe that it could be helpful. So we wanted to get on here, get you on the screen, and be able to kind of give more information on how Dental Intelligence can help dental practices.
Awesome. Yeah, we're really excited. Some of the people that we work with most are our office managers, high performing office managers that are entrusted with the practice performance. That's kind of the sweet spot for where Dental Intelligence can be really impactful.
Great, yeah. So for Dental Intelligence, right? One of the most common questions that I get from office managers in the group is, Dental Intelligence kind of sounds very similar to other products, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, what I'd like to know, because as an office manager myself, I'm always trying to learn more about different companies that are out there that have different offerings. And so I've heard of many different companies that may have similar products. However, what exactly makes Dental Intelligence unique as opposed to these other companies?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we get that a lot as well. I think I mentioned this to you, Kyle, but I've actually functioned in the office manager role in a practice that I owned part of. And I've used a lot of these different services, and a lot of them are so similar. So we get the question, okay, where is Dental Intelligence different? One of the main things that I tell people is Dental Intelligence is a true end-to-end performance solution for practices. Meaning, if I'm an office manager that is entrusted with growing the practice, I can start with our analytics product and look at all the numbers for the practice and say, oh, here's a gap. Here's something that we're trying to work on. And the analytics product helps us identify those things and then take it down the line. Okay, now we've identified an opportunity. And we also have the communications platform to communicate with those patients, to get them on the schedule, to make the forms process significantly easier, and then to verify insurance and claims processing all the way to payments. So really end to end, we've got some features that no one else offers, which is why I actually ended up here. Is I've actually worked for a couple of other companies that are similar, and I like the breadth of services that Dental Intelligence offers.
Okay, great. Office managers may be sometimes kind of a little hesitant, right? Like, for example, if I've been using a certain program for a long time, I don't really want to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm worried about, is it going to be good? Is it going to be a good change? Am I going to have a good experience? In your experience, right?
Yeah.
What's been some of the feedback that you're getting from office managers who make the switch?
Yeah, that's a great question too. And I remember being in this situation. We used one company and we were switching to a different company, and we were wondering how our patients were going to handle it. We had kind of an older patient base, wondering how they were going to handle it. Would they be confused? Was it worth the effort? The main feedback that we get from office managers is just how much time we save them. Our patient communication and forms process is so integrated with the practice management system that we save office managers and their front office anywhere from 10 to 15 hours of work per week, just by making sure that forms write back to the right places. You don't have to go in and manually do that. That if you send patient forms beforehand, that it's following up automatically if they haven't filled them out yet. So you get forms filled before the appointment. So there's a lot there, but ultimately setting something new up is going to take time and get require setup to get working the way that you want it to. The feedback that we get is once that's happened, office managers love how much time they're saving with it.
Okay. All right. So, that answers it. That's a great answer. And I appreciate the information you just gave, because I've always kind of wondered, like, hey, look, when we do switch systems, maybe we've spent a lot of time with one company and we got used to it, right?
Mhm.
And we're happy with it, and but sometimes there's glitches, right? And maybe sometimes relationships, don't work out, right? So office managers may say, hey, look, maybe I'm looking at a new product that has this service that this company doesn't offer, right?
Mhm.
And so it's a breath of fresh air to know that the feedback you're getting is very positive for dental intelligence.
Yeah.
That leads kind of like to my next question, right? So, Adam, if we were to decide to switch from our current company that's offering communication software, and some of the other products that you guys have, for whatever reason, maybe the relationship broke down, or maybe it just seems very glitchy, or it's not working with our practice management software, how easily does dental intelligence take its place? Like, how easy does it integrate with other practice management softwares?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have three main practice management softwares that we work with, the kind of the big three, EagleSoft, Dentrix, Open Dental. And the
Okay.
reason that we're expanding that, but it takes us a long time to expand because our integration is so deep. We have to integrate deeper than most patient communication platforms because we also pull that analytics piece. We've got to go and get all of the chart data. We have to get appointment data. We've got to get everything you can think of to be able to bring analytics back that are accurate. So that integration, we pay a lot of money to each of these practice management softwares to make sure that that is as seamless as possible. So um, as soon as you've got kind of the cadence, I want things sent out at this time, and this is what the messaging that I want. The integration is seamless from that point. We very rarely run into anything where and we have 10,000 practices, and we'll hear maybe once or twice a month that you know uh, appointment reminders are sending at the wrong time, and usually that's a system setting. But as far as integration goes, usually we have really, really great integrations.
Wow, okay. All right. So if we were to switch over and say, hey, we want to start using dental intelligence, you guys would get everything set up and then start basically kind of like collecting all the data from our practice management system. And
Hmm.
then and then we would kind of schedule things from there and say, hey, look, we want to set this up here in this manner. But about how long is there like an average time like one should expect to be like fully up and running?
Yeah, so it usually takes anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks, and we usually say, hey, you use these two side by side. We won't send the messages out, but let's make sure we get it set up so that you're not missing anything that you had. The analytics will work. Usually, occasionally we'll replace an analytics solution, but usually that's an add-on piece. But the patient communications, usually we say, hey, let's get them set up side by side. Let's make sure that we've got apples to apples. And then once we're confident, then we turn this one off and this one on same day so you don't miss anything.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right, that sounds good. So that my next question to you would be one of the things I've noticed with other softwares in the past that I've used in the practice is that there's a lack of, say, seamless transition between one program to the next program. It sounds like what you just said is kind of like, hey, look, allow dental intelligence to collect this data and do its work in the back end so that you do have a seamless transfer. And then you could just kind of flick a switch and turn dental intelligence on and change your whole life.
Yep,
Right? I mean,
that's
that's kind of
that's
what it
the
sounds
goal.
like. Okay. All right. So that's awesome, man. Now, in terms of like patient retention, right? One of the most important aspects of a dental practice is patient retention, right?
Yes.
And so us as running a perio practice, we have patients who are coming on every 3 months. We even have
Mhm.
patients who are coming sometimes every 6 weeks that have like, very bad perio disease.
Yep.
And so patient retention is a big deal for us, not only recall wise, but also just like having that personal relationship with the patient to
Mhm.
show that we're like, hey, we're on top of it. We're following you, we're following up with care, we're following up pretty much with everything. And so my question to you would be, how does dental intelligence meet that goal?
Yeah. So let me share something with you really quick, Kyle, and then I'd like to share my screen if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah,
Um,
let's do it.
I started my career at Dental Intelligence 12 years ago. So I was one of the first two employees here, and there were no analytics softwares back then that could track patient retention. And that was one of the things that we quickly identified offices were just missing out on because they didn't have an easy way to track it. So it was one of the first things that we built into our software. And then I left, bought into a dental practice and built and sold that, and then came back around because I love the product so much. But we when we started this, we would ask. So we had analytics set up on the practice, and we'd say, what would you guess your hygiene reappointment rate is? And they'd say, oh, it's 95%, and it was like 40, and they had no idea, right? But there was nothing to like show them what that was. Or
Mhm.
we'd say, of your active patients you've seen in the last 18 months, how many of those are scheduled right now, would you guess? And they'd be like, oh, easily 90%. And the number of times we actually see 90% is like very, very few and far between. We'd see the average when we started tracking this, and no one was really tracking it, was right around 32% of active patients actively scheduled to come back and currently scheduled to come back in the future. And we started pushing on that, and because we started pushing on that, it caught a lot of steam in the industry. And that's good news because a lot of practices have really improved that number. So let me share with you how we track that, okay? This is this is our analytics dashboard. So right now I've got a practice up here. I've got all the HIPAA information hidden. Um, but if I want to look at a glance, how is this practice doing at keeping patients that they get? So hygiene pre-appointment is of all of your hygiene patients that have been in the last 18 months that are not marked inactive, like you haven't actively gone in and marked them inactive in your practice management software, what percentage of those are scheduled to come back in the future? And this practice is at 67%. This is above average. You'd be probably surprised by that, but this is above average. And I'll tell you why it's above average, okay? So there's a few areas where patients fall off, and this is going to help with retention, and everyone should know this. There are a few areas where patients will fall off. So hygiene reappointment, you can see they're reappointing 9 out of 10 hygiene patients for all the month of March. And if I look, they've been improving this over the last several years. But they're still at 67% total hygiene reappointments. So you see patients 3 times in the 18 months that they're active patients, right? So there's 3 times that they could fall off. If you're losing 10% each time and not getting them back on the schedule, you're losing almost 30% of those. Not quite 30% because the cohort decreases as you lose it, but you're losing almost 30% of that original chunk that you started with. So you've got to have activation efforts in place so that you don't lose 30% there. But there's one other place, and that's in cancellations and no-shows. So you can see here, this office has about 18% between cancellations and no-shows in March. And that we track this number really closely across the industry, and it's been increasing very significantly. If you look back about 2 years ago, this was averaging around 10% in any practice, and it's up to 16% on tracking across all of the practices that we work with. So cancellations and no-shows are increasing, whether that's, COVID made it so that we could say we're sick and that was a good enough reason, and then we don't have to come in, or whatever the reasoning is. We want to make sure that as these end up in cancellations and no-shows, we get them back on the schedule. So our software will deliver up those names to you. You can set follow-ups with them, and it'll tell you yesterday you saw this many patients. These are the ones that didn't schedule. And you can set follow-ups and say, I want to follow up with them next week. So there's a lot built into this to go and make sure that we're retaining patients as well as possible.
Yeah, this looks like this is a lot of data. I mean, this is very impressive. Um, it really allows you to kind of take a deep dive into the practice analytics. So, uh,
Definitely.
what is there a possibility that you can kind of show us like, for example, if we like who are the canceled patients? Is that something you can show us?
Yeah, so I'm not going to do it because I have HIPAA filters on.
Okay, okay,
But
okay.
but if I click this magnifying glass, it will tell me these are the 127 that canceled. These are the 80 that are still unscheduled. And same with no shows, same with reappointment. I can filter by which ones reappointed and which ones didn't, so I can get those exact lists in here. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, it'll give you that data. And then I wanted to show you one more place. Okay, so that's active, but if you dump this on your front desk and say, hey, go, or here's one other place. I could say, hey, this practice has 1,353 active patients that are currently not scheduled. If you, Kyle, tell me this, if you deliver that to someone at your front desk and say, hey, work on this, what are they what are they gonna do?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're gonna say, that's a lot of patience, right?
Yeah.
This is gonna take me a long time.
Yeah, they'll be overwhelmed. And we do want them working on it, but we don't want to like try to eat the whole elephant in one bite, right? We want to work on it a little bit at a time. So what we've done is we have this morning huddle report. And if you go through this each day, it will tell you who you can work on just that day that you're actually going to see to retain those patients. So this tells me I've got 29 patients coming in, about 11K that's scheduled in production. And then I have 4 patients scheduled today that have unscheduled family members. And if I click on it, it'll show me who those family members are. And then I know, okay, when they're in the office, let's get mom or dad to reschedule that patient, or husband or wife, whichever it is, to get that patient back on the schedule. And I've also got 5 patients coming in on the restorative side that aren't scheduled to come back in hygiene. Let's make sure that before they leave from their restorative visit, we've got them back on for hygiene. So now I'm taking this 1,300 chunk by chunk and saying, okay, I can go make calls on that. But if I can get more patients scheduled by the end of today than I had at the start of today, I'm already working into that bucket. And that's what we really want to help office managers do.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I'm sold. Yeah, this is great. I mean, the analytics on there seem amazing. It seems like again, it's like really taking a deep dive into the practice analytics. I don't believe I've seen anything like this before, with such detail and kind of like everything there in one like screen, right?
Yeah,
Usually, for practice management softwares, you got to run this report, run that report. Next thing you know, you
yeah,
got 10 reports sitting there and you're trying to go through each one individually.
yeah,
I could see how this would be a huge time saver. Definitely office managers should get on top of this. Like, in my opinion, it looks like it would be a huge benefit to practice managers for any size dental practice, really.
yeah.
One of the things is I'll mention is that, I run a one doctor practice, perio practice. And so, we have a huge database of patients and, we don't have a large staff, right? So
Mhm.
I could see something like this, for a one doctor practice, how it could be beneficial. I could see how it could be beneficial for, say, 4 or 5 doctor practice or DSO. It's kind of a
Yeah,
no-brainer, right?
yep.
So that's yeah. Thanks for showing us that and really appreciate it. Um, you know, so in terms of like, let's dive a little bit more into like, cost savings and things like that, right?
Mhm.
So, obviously it's going to save the dentist some dollars, right? Because, staff is not going to have to sit there and spend hours working on 10 different reports, right? So
Right.
that's kind of a no-brainer right there. So time saver, money saver, right?
Mhm.
And, relationship builder, it kind of seems like.
Yep.
What I want to ask you is like, so what's the special deal that you guys are offering the members of our community?
Yeah. So like I said, the people that benefit the most from this and really get highlighted by using our suite of products are the office managers that are functioning at that higher level. So we wanted to do we do a $50 demo gift card. So you see a demo, check out the product, let someone show you. We can use your data or we can use dummy data, just show you how it works. You get a $50 gift card, and that's Amazon or I think DoorDash are the two options you can choose from there. Amazon is basically cash anymore, right? So you'll get a $50 Amazon gift card. Anyone that signs up from this group gets waived implementation fees, which are usually $1,500. So that's it. It does take some time to get up and going. A lot of man hours on our end to make sure that things are mapped up the way that you want to. That'll be discounted for this group, and then we'll do a $50 discount on the monthly service fee as well.
Wow.
So a really, really great offer. And because we know that this group is made up of people who will benefit the most from using this.
Awesome, Adam. Yes, appreciate it. Thanks for thanks for hooking us up, and thanks for taking the time out to show us dental intelligence and how it could really help our practices. Again, I'm sold. I like the product. I like you. And I think that this would really benefit the members of our community. So guys, check it out. Check out Dental Intelligence. Reach out to Adam. We're also going to have a landing page link that we're going to put in the video in the comment section. So take some time, sign up, do a demo, and just hopefully it works out for you guys. And again, Adam, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day. And we want to thank Dental Intelligence for hooking us up. So
I just want to make one other offer to the group. Steve Jensen and myself, we've both worked with over 1,000 dental practices in our career, looking at their data, helping them ideate on ways that they can improve their practices. We do an analytics deep dive, so we'll sync your data at no cost, give you a 2-week free trial, and we'll go through an analytics deep dive with you in your actual data. Say, here's some opportunities for you in your practice. You'll have 2 weeks to test drive it. No like payment up front or anything needed. Just test out how it works, and if it makes sense and there's opportunity in there, then let's go ahead with it. But we love doing these sessions with practices and helping them come up with ideas that they can use to improve their practices. So we'll offer that to anyone in this group as well, if they're interested in doing those.
So 3 offers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, cool, man.
Yeah.
Again, I appreciate it, Adam. Thanks so much. Dental office managers out there, definitely take up Dental Intelligence's offer on that deep dive in the analytics of practice. I'm going to do it myself, and I hope you guys do too.